Welcome. Welcome to the part 5 of Laura's story of crisis. So far, we began with understanding a wheel of life, the domain with the most gaps. Then, along with Laura, we understood our values, things that are important to us. Then, moving from there, along with Laura, you learned what are your strengths and how you could use this strength in dealing with crisis. From there on, we introduce the concept of mindfulness into our practice, our work of dealing with difficult times. There are certain elements in mindfulness which are about awareness and acceptance. So, in our previous session, which was the longest of all the sessions we did, we learned through certain guided meditations and through a metaphor of a picture how our fears hold us back and what is it that we need to do to get to a state of calm and safety, I should say, a safe place, which gives us awareness of how we deal with our difficult times. And not just that, in our crisis, which happens with most of us, there are areas where we also do not really know how we will be able to deal with difficult and complex emotions. So certain areas which lies beyond our control can be best dealt with acceptance. So that also we learned through a guided meditation. If you have not been through any of these sessions, I request you to pause this video here and come back to it in a sequence. This is fifth in the series. So go back and do it from the first so that it helps you walk on a journey the way Laura did and find your way out. So this was a quick recap. Now let's move forward. And in our session today, I had taught Laura the method to find out our positive emotions. Friends, I just like to mention here as a cognitive behavior therapist and my knowledge in neuroscience. If you ever wonder why is it that we first think anything in a negative and with great effort we get to a positive mindset. This is because our brains have been evolving over eons of years and we are hardwired to negativity. Our brain would always work in a way to keep us safe. Therefore, anything or any difficulty we come across, it's very difficult, it's absolutely challenging to first think in a positive way about a difficult thing. We begin with negativity, and that is the reason why we mostly fall in the trap of stress. So here in this workshop, in this session, we will learn how to build our positive emotions because since we are hardwired to negativity, we need to work, put in effort, and build that positivity around us. So going through a difficult time, we will experience negative emotions. Now, how do we really be able to develop these positive emotions? This is what you will learn just the way Laura did along with me. Let's do the work. Grab a pen and a paper and let's get started. Now, here's what I had taught Laura, and I would want you to pause this video for a few seconds and make note of these 10 most common positive emotions. This is basically the very idea here is we generally tend to have emotions, but as I mentioned earlier, positive emotions or positive thoughts or positive attitude requires effort. whereas negative things come automatically to 99% of us. So if you think you're the only one thinking in negative terms, trust me, you're not alone. Let's now put in efforts to bring in positive emotions, because the more we focus on being positive and developing this, the more easier it will be for us to remove the negativity from our mind, which is hardwired for most of us. And this is a most crucial way of building our resilience and dealing with difficult times. So here is, one second, here is the list of positive emotions. There are 10. I have made a list, which is making your job a bit more easier. If you want, you can add your own, but this one is good enough, which covers most of it. Now, seeing these emotions, check which are the ones do you feel the least daily. See the question here, the least, because we are working on building our positive emotions. We need to first figure out which is the one we feel the least daily. Pick from this list and write down in this template the least experience positive emotions. Once you do this, you will realize it might take some time for you actually to pick, but once you do this, you will realize that this is something that's been missing in your life. And you will also realize why so. So go ahead and pick your top 3 positive emotions that you feel the least on a daily basis. Now, once you've done that, as the third step, first you picked up the least 3, then you made a note of it. Now, let's deep dive into what we have found out. So we picked the 3 least positive emotions. Once we have that list with us, let's use these categories. Activities that you already do but could do more often, new activities, changing your mindset about current activities. So what it basically means is the 3 positive emotions that you are feeling or experiencing very least on a daily basis or on a regular basis, you could further put them into categories and think of ideas that will help you imbibe those least positive emotions in your life. Because the very idea of this exercise is to first get to the awareness, which we did by picking those out of the 10 and understanding this is what is missing in our life. Then from what we've figured out, we now try to brainstorm ideas. What is it that I can do to really get them into my life? Because these are the positive emotions I want, but I'm experiencing them at the least in my daily life. These ideas that you will list here can be on activities that you already do but could do more often. They could be new activities, or they could be about changing your mindset about your current activities. So go ahead, think through, brainstorm, and through this, just like Laura, you will be able to get to at least 10 good ideas that will help you get these 3 least felt positive emotions in your life. You now need to get into action once you have your ideas, because it's only when you get into action, put these ideas into action, is only when you get to experience those positive emotions. So having listing them down here, also make sure you will be now putting them into action. This is the practice. So Go ahead and try to put them down into action.